Saran. I'm actually early tonight by a few minutes instead of late by a few minutes. Hey everyone, how's it going? Got new molds for my extra epoxy. They are skulls, and I'm pretty excited about it. Excuse me. Still cannot shake this cough from all these allergens that we have right now. I don't even have allergies, really. I haven't had allergies like a majority of my life. I haven't had issues with them. And I'm gonna give it just a little bit for people to join. So I'm gonna go over Saran wrap. I know there's never as many people that join as say that they are going on Facebook, but this is not a particularly long process. So this came from the dollar store. It's just an ice cube tray. I've seen some that I just wasn't a really big fan of at the Dollar Tree, but I went to the dollar store the other day, because in my county we have a Dollar Tree and a dollar store like every half mile. There's two real close to my house, but just an ice cube tray mold that was in with the seasonal stuff, and I thought it was kind of cute and different than the other ones I'd seen. I don't know why there's pink on the bottom of all of these. Probably because it's an ice cube tray from the dollar store. And probably in reality because it was sitting on top of something pink. But yeah. So I had some extra epoxy from the live that I did last night. Well, Karen, I hope they have them at yours too. They had those, and then they had the mouth with the vampire teeth, and I think they had pumpkins too. So there were 3 different ice cube trays that they had there. So, so that was from my leftover epoxy last night. It's not, they're not shiny, but they're not like super shiny. It's kind of an odd in between I haven't experienced before, but I like it. So I'm gonna go ahead and show some of the ones that I've done already. Like I said, this isn't gonna be a particularly long live just because it's not a particularly long process, but I did 4 experimenting, so I will share with you what I did and what I did differently and kind of how that turned out. So this was the very first one that I did. This is an adorable wine flute that our admin Angela sent to me. Isn't it so cute with this little tiny lid? So this one I wrapped around. I got some real awesome variations in it. Now this was on a very pale base. It wasn't quite white, but it's kind of off-white, so that's actually the base right there, where you can see where there's no inks. So again, I wrapped this around, and right here where this gets kind of funky and interesting is where they kind of met. But I was really happy with this one. And then because I was doing small things, I got curious and I said, well, because I had that part blank and I barely got that, what if I wrapped it from the bottom? So this next one I wrapped from the bottom, and I got a totally different type of pattern that I still really like. I think it kind of works well with the colors. But this was my next one that I did. And this was on a pale yellow spray paint base. So you don't just have to use white. Let me turn this light off so you don't have that glare. So yeah. So that way my entire bottom was covered. I didn't have to worry about trying to press and keep it or anything. It is pretty fall looking. I feel like I need to put something about like campfires or I don't know. So yeah, so as you can see, two very, very different types of designs. So doing it from the bottom, you're gonna get much smaller areas of that kind of crinkle, and that's because there's more crinkling that's happening because you've got the same amount. Instead of going around, it's all going up to, you know, 2 inches of a diameter. So if you want something where the pattern's a lot smaller and you don't want to have to worry about trying to force and crinkle the Saran wrap to get that, maybe lay a few pieces out and then go from the bottom versus from the side. I love them both. I haven't put anything on them and I haven't listed them for a reason because I may just need to keep them. So after I did these two, I was completely hooked. So the very next day, I pulled out 2 wine glasses that I had done 2 different colors of the opal glitter effect. One was warmer pinks and mauves and purples, and the other was cool blues and teals. And I went, well, I wonder what this will look like over glitter, because I hadn't seen it over glitter yet in any of the posts. Not that other people didn't do it, I just hadn't seen it myself. So I didn't really go in and watch any tutorials, I just kind of jumped in head first. So on these I did the same thing. I wrapped, as the last one, I wrapped from the bottom up. Pink alcohol inks. So this is my first one. So again, this was on very pale, so you can see I kind of got a larger area there where it wasn't tight when it was drying. But it was pale pinks and purple opal, and so I put deep burgundies, pinks, and reds on top of it. And I was really, really happy with how this one turned out too. Yeah, glitter makes everything better. And I really like that this way the glitter's gonna take on whatever color of the inks over it. So that one, and then this one, which this one, again, well, actually both of these, I was not in the room after I wrapped them. I immediately left, so I did not see that some of my Saran wrap came undone. So this one has another really large area where there's no ink. So I'm gonna put the decal there. So see, that's the really large spot where my Saran wrap kind of bubbled and kind of fell off. So it didn't get the inks, but look at the rest of it. And this one I experimented further by using silver alcohol inks, because I didn't know if silver would do the same, have the same effect as it blended. But look at that bit of extra shimmer that the silver mixed in with the other alcohol inks. It is kind of Emerald City. I didn't think about that. And then again, I wrap from the bottom. So these were my first 4. And on my next one, my daughter saw this and thought that it was really pretty, so she had made a purple tumbler. So this was just an Ozark. She saw this color glitter and she wanted to glitter with me one day, so I let her. Epoxy method. I did the epoxy, she put the glitter on it. So this is hers, so I thought that for this one I would do hers. So instead of using these similar colors, I want to try something different with these. So this has a bit of that teal sparkle to it. She was so excited. She loves crafting. She's all artsy. So instead of doing darker purples and things like that, I'm going a different route. So I'm going to this is eggplant, I believe. So I am still going to use a purple, but then I'm also going to put some teal in it. And because I really liked how using the silver alcohol ink worked on here, I'm going to use silver and gold. So we're just gonna do it up big. So I'm just gonna shake these. Yep. So then the only other thing that, really the only thing I need, is my Saran wrap. You do want to make sure, just like with anything else that you do, that your tumbler is of course fully prepped. You do also want to make sure that you've allowed your, if you're spray painting your base, that your spray paint is completely dry, that if you are doing this over glitter that's been epoxied or anything else that's been epoxied, that your epoxy is fully cured. The last thing you want is a half-cured tumbler wrapped in Saran wrap, because you may never get this stuff back off again, which could end up looking cool, who knows. These flutes, they came, they're Hog brand, so they came from Stainless Steel Depot. I didn't buy them there, but Angela sent me a goodie box. But yes, they are Hog brand. I think they're called flutes. I think they're just flute. I don't know. But yes, they're so super cute. I need to drink champagne. I need more reasons to drink champagne. Any reason to drink champagne, really. Alright, any other questions before we get started? Sorry, I'm reaching for my drink. I'm not just getting closer for no reason. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and point you down. Yes, Stephanie, it is the Saran wrap method. So these two different methods. This one is wrapped around, which is what I'll be doing today. This is wrapped from the bottom. So two very different looks. Both of those are over spray paint. And then both of these I did over glitter bases. Meg, you made it! Hey, Mona. I've just been chatting about my other ones. Like I was telling them, this isn't a particularly long process, so I'm going to talk through what I had done on the other ones. Okay. Alright, just going to move you over here. Push down a little bit more. Okay. So, got my, well, cling wrap, Saran wrap. So, depending upon what size you do and which way you're planning on wrapping it, you may need to or want to do 2 layers. Hold on, I know I'm getting ready to sneeze. Oh, darn it, I said something, so now I'm not going to. Alright, sorry, I may just sneeze in the middle of a word. So, if you're doing a 30-ounce skinny, maybe some 30-ounce tapered, you probably want to overlap some just to make sure that you have enough to go around the top. And also, if you're wanting to wrap it around and have the design on the bottom too, you're going to have to fold and press to make that happen. So, you just want to know where your size is. So if I was going to do this from the bottom, definitely would need to put 2 together. Hey, Shannon. But this one I'm wrapping from the side, so I've got plenty of room. Another thing, you just kind of, want to know your space. You can measure, or on your workspace, just take it, roll your tumbler all the way around before you pull it out. Yeah, whatever works for you. So I'm going to pull it out. And the great thing about this method is, for once, not only does it not matter if it sticks to itself or if it gets messy, it's actually really encouraged. Let's see. I'm going to turn. Not sure which way you can see. Does having the light on let you see the Saran wrap better? Or is it worse? So, light on, light off. On, off. I feel like on is better. On, okay, good deal. So I just kind of go ahead and encourage a little bit of bunching. And then, some say on, some say off. All right, let me try a different light then. You don't have to see it for too long, but oop. Just a second. So I do have different lights. So I have this one, that one, that one. Are any of those better? Or does the vast majority still say off? I'm split. I got 2 S's for on and a Karen and a Heather for off. do this. There. Just gonna do this, and then the white will let you see the inks better. Light on or off. You'll still be able to see the inks, which is the important part. Yep. Where's my end? There. Okay. Alright. So, when you're putting your inks on, you want to go heavy. It's heavy. Huh? I'm already exploding. So you want to go heavy because you want them to blend, and because it's going to be crinkled, you want to make sure that there is ink that is going to fall into these areas, because the parts where you see the lines, that's where the Saran wrap is bending, but it's falling into all these other areas. So I'm going to be all sorts of teal for days. So then I start dropping. And sometimes I kind of do them around and connect. Sometimes I'll just kind of squirt them into areas. Because just like with anything else you do with alcohol inks, it's kind of got a mind of its own, and it is kind of going to do what it wants. So then through. Now, when I did the glitter ones, I had originally left some blank areas, thinking, oh, well, I want some places where I want the glitter to really show through, and it didn't really do that. Just to be honest, it didn't. Because you're not laying this stuff down flat, or anything, it's going to continuously move. So you can try to leave some areas bare if you're wanting that effect, but there is no guarantee that you're going to get it. Alright, my gold is a little stopped up. Yes, Mona, the one I'm using today is already glittered and epoxied so that I get some glitter to shine through. My daughter had made it. But these were just on a spray paint base, and I let the spray paint fully dry. I didn't have any issues with the paint coming off. But if you do not let it dry all the way, you will have some areas, mainly these areas where the Saran wrap is really bunched up there, those you might have the paint come off. Some gold. I'm making my sister a memory cup with images of her pup. Glittered white cup. Can I add the images to the cup with the white glitter behind it and then do the Saran wrap method and use alcohol to take off of the photos. So you're talking about kind of like a geode method. Yes, you absolutely could do that as long as you epoxy over the water slide, the images. You could just use alcohol to take it off, just like we normally use acetone to take off the spray paint. Yeah, that would totally work. Oh, yay, Meg, I'm so glad you got your turner. This is, see, as you can see, I don't craft with gloves and my bottles get really messy. This is eggplant. This is stream. Probably can't read that. And then gold, and I'm gonna put a tiny bit of silver in it too. I'm so glad you like the yellow one. It was not in any way how I thought it was gonna turn out, wrapping that Saran wrap from the bottom, but I was pleased. Here. These metallics, a little goes a long way. Oh, you're welcome, Stephanie. Karen, you should absolutely get one of Gina's turners. And if you look in the group, we have a link to create a coupon code for you too. So you can get a discount. Gina's was super awesome and hooked us up. I mean, her turners are really cost effective anyway, but you know, every little bit helps. And it's so easy to put together, so easy. It's like 4 screws. It's fantastic. And she's got really great information in there about the assembly and even some videos and stuff. So should totally buy one. Alright, so I pour, and then I always let it sit for just a few minutes, kind of let the inks do its thing, and yeah, kind of pull apart, mess around until I kind of get a crinkle that I think is going to look cool. And letting it sit just lets a little bit of that alcohol evaporate so that your inks are not quite as thin, so you won't have a whole lot of running. I've seen some people post where they wrapped it and then they let it sit and they had so many inks that came dripping out the bottom that they weren't on the cup long enough to get a real good coverage. Yes, and Mona and her, I'm gonna call him her OCD husband, who never lets a turner, one of their multi-cup turners or handmade wood turners, go out until the middle PVC pipe is perfectly level. I'm trying to talk them into doing a special project for me too. I was talking to Mona just the other day. All right, so I've had this sitting. So what we're gonna do is I'm just going to set this directly down and start rolling it. I'm gonna set it down and I'm gonna start rolling. But this edge right here, I am not going to push it all the way up because I don't have inks all the way up to there. So I'm gonna let it kind of fold back over at first. And I'm not pushing on it, I'm not smoothing as I go, I'm truly just rolling the way and kind of moving and adjusting and just letting it go exactly as it was. So, see they've met here. Pull it apart. I'm actually gonna put this one here a little bit more. So, fold it over. So I'm not gonna have this big straight line or anything like that. So then, because I'm gonna clean it up, I fold it in. Make sure my inks go all the way to the top. This overlap, I'm just gonna fold it flat. And then I've got my bottom, so you see I've left enough here. So I'm just gonna start pushing in. Stretching. And see, I'm gonna take this, put it over. The bottom I really just play with to try to get as good of a coverage as I can. And then I smash it down. Oh no, Mona, totally take your time, swim. If I had a pool, I'd totally be swimming. So then I'm just gonna take a look at it. So this is not the end all be all. You can push and you can smash and you can move some of these little bunches. But what I'm really looking for is areas like this. So if I'm okay with seeing this much, and it may not in actuality be that much, inks could run down, but if I'm okay with that, I'll just leave it. If not, I'm actually just going to use my nails and pick at it and then move it over. And now I don't have that blank spot anymore. But yeah, I just kind of do this jazz and then turn it over. Shannon, lots of the affiliates can be found in the files section. Also, if you click on the units, which is in kind of the toolbar area underneath discussion, click on units. There's a few at the top, but then it starts alphabetically, and we have one that's affiliates. And we've got lots of other posts from them and things that have been sponsored by them and everything like that too. Yes, we do. We have affiliate codes for Pink Craft Panda as well. We've added several affiliates here in the past couple of weeks too, which I'm so excited about. So I've seen mixed reviews on how long you should let your tumbler sit. My personal opinion is it really just depends on how many alcohol inks you've put on there, or how much alcohol ink you've put on there, and the temperature and things like that of your room. It's really just like paint. It needs to be dry. So all of these I did around between 7, 8 o'clock one night, and I took the Saran wrap off the following morning, or following afternoon. So they probably stayed on anywhere from 12 to 20 hours. So not even a full 24 hours. So what I did is I just started pulling, and I kind of listened for that crunchy sound. But yeah, if you're not sure, I mean, if you touch it and it slides like this is sliding, it is not dry. Leave the Saran wrap on longer. Because if all of your inks aren't dry when you take off your Saran wrap, it may look good then, but those inks may still play with each other and merge, and these really cool lines that you're gonna get disappear. So those lines in and through there, you may lose those because you don't have the Saran wrap and they're blocking those two from playing and merging together. So that's one of the reasons why you gotta make sure that it's all the way dry. And another thing I really like about this, man, look like I don't even know. It's not blue, so it doesn't look like I murdered a Smurf. The Jolly Green Giant? I don't know. Today, this was purple glitter. Oh yeah, Shannon, I'm glad. Yeah, like I said, I hadn't seen it before, and I had these 2 tumblers. I had them listed just sitting on my Etsy because I couldn't decide what to put on them, and I guess other people couldn't decide either. So I deactivated the listings from Etsy and did this, and I just feel like this is so much more unique than just the, not that I don't love opal glitter tumblers, but adding this to it because these patterns are so unique. Rebecca, I do not seal my alcohol inks. I never have for anything. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't seal some alcohol inks. I know that there are alcohol inks that do change colors. I feel like it kind of depends on what your alcohol inks are and what your epoxy is. I've never had an issue. Right now I use Counterculture. Before that I used Promarine, and I've never had a big issue with them. Sometimes I think I have applied my epoxy a little bit too soon, and I can tell that my alcohol inks kind of blurred just slightly, but nothing major. It looked intentional. And there's so many people have different opinions about what is good to seal your alcohol inks with, because some of the sealers themselves will change your colors. So I've never sealed any of my alcohol inks doing this or wood grains or any of my watercolor ones that I do, which are, got one here. So like these, I never seal my alcohol inks. Personally. Yeah, Rebecca, I think as long as your inks sit long, or in my experience, I won't say if you, in my experience, as long as my alcohol inks are dry, I've never had any issues. But again, I have seen so many people in other groups comment about certain of the brown alcohol inks that change to green, and I think those may just have really green undertones to them. I've got a few of my gray alcohol inks that once they're under epoxy, I don't know what it is, but they take on a bit more of a brown. And I mean, I've also seen people that have put epoxy on alcohol inks and colors have disappeared. Like they put blue on it and there's a picture before they epoxied and there was blue on that tumbler, and they put epoxy on it and there's no blue anymore. I have no explanation for that, but I can tell you that me personally, I've never had that issue. So I'll let this sit and then I'll pull this tomorrow afternoon. And then I'll post pictures. I have to decide, I really need to decide what to put on these other ones. I think I have seen people have issues with blacks too, Karen. I've never used black alcohol ink. A list of alcohol inks or a chart. Really, you think? Think Shannon needs to go here? Right through there. I don't know about the Pinata alcohol inks, Rhonda. I do know that I have seen charts for the Tim Holtz. I don't know if it was something that they actually put out or if it was just things that people had put together themselves, though. It's been a long time since I looked for that. Looks like I got takers for almost all of them. The teal, the yellow, and the pink. Yeah, because I epoxied this the afternoon after I took the Saran wrap off. I had all my turners going, so I just thin coated and let it hang. Used a gray with a white gloss base, and the gray looked pink and blue. Huh. Changed it to a white flat and the ink was gray. Interesting, Misty. So, depends if you use a gloss or a matte or flat spray paint too. That makes sense. I try not to use gloss in general just because epoxy doesn't like gloss either. Tim Holtz. I'm starting to see more people have issues with their base, what they're using for their base coats. Used to seal them, some would turn green, sometimes they wouldn't. Alright, so you used to seal and had issues, and then you just started letting them sit and no issues. Oh. Maybe that's why I haven't had issues. Mine normally sit for a while. Mainly because I go through kicks where I do a bunch of stuff. My crafting is kind of spastic, like the rest of my life. So I'll go through and I'll ink like 10 tumblers, and then I put them to the side, and then I move on and do another basic step on another set of tumblers. And then I end up with like 5 million things to epoxy and not enough things to put them on, not enough turners. Alright. So does anyone else have any questions? For anybody that came in late, this I wrapped horizontally, like the cup I just did. This I wrapped vertically from the bottom, so it crinkled a whole lot more. So two very different looks on the exact same size tumbler. I can't stop like staring at them as they turn, as I'm like all creepy-eyed, all like, here's Johnny, through the tumblers. Any other questions? One baby wipe left. You're very welcome, Shannon. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of forgot about it until earlier. I had everything set and ready to go, and I was just, today's my Friday. I work Monday through Friday most weeks, and so I was like all settled in, watching some Walking Dead, went to the store, had a few beers, and then all of a sudden I was like, oh wait, don't get too comfy. Well, I'm glad I can be informative and entertaining. It's mainly anxiety. I talk a lot when I'm nervous, and I'm always kind of nervous when I go live. Yeah, I did. I had a few beers. I was in our, a Facebook Messenger chat, and I was like, oh man, I'm going live at 8:30. I think it was like 7. And I was like, well, it'll be fun. At least funny. I've already had 2 beers. My inner dork comes out. You don't even know, my inner dork is, it's only peeking out. It comes out full throttle sometimes. My husband would be calling me out on so much shit if he was down here. But he doesn't ever want to be down here because he doesn't want to risk the fact that I may accidentally catch him on video. Because he works out down here. And he's terrified. He doesn't even like right now, where the treadmill and like the punching bag and everything is that way. Sorry, I don't want to, something in my eye. I don't want you to watch me like poking my finger in my eyeball. That weirds people out. So even though it's facing this direction and there's no possible way that he would come and stand behind me right now in this corner of the garage, even though there's no way, he wouldn't even want the possibility of y'all being able to hear him running on the treadmill. He's weird, but I love him. I'm weird too, so we deal with each other. Alright guys, so I'm gonna hop off here. If you have not already but are interested in it, we are doing our first contest. And this is a contest where you will be making a tumbler and then sending in anonymous photos, and it will be voted on by the group. Winners get cash money. So there is a $5 purchase that's required. It's a purchase of an SVG of your choosing. So you go into PayPal, and friends and family, $5 to the newly created Curious Crafters PayPal. That money sits there, it's not getting deposited. We're doing friends and family, so there aren't any fees. So 100% of the money goes back to the winners, and PayPal doesn't take any of it. So you have until the 8th to sign up and to send your $5 purchase fee in. After that closes, what I'll do is everybody that's paid and registered, both paid and registered, will be emailed a code and a link to my website. So you'll get a link to the Curious Crafters exclusive SVGs that I have created. So these are not SVGs that we have downloaded from somewhere. We're not reselling or anything like that. They're all fall, Halloween. There's one Christmas SVG on there. You get to pick any one. Use the unique coupon code that you've been provided that will zero it out, and then you can instantly download it from there. Then we'll have a submission time frame until the 25th, I believe. All the dates are posted in the announcements, but you have until the 25th, so you have almost the entirety of a month. If you go ahead and sign up now and do your $5, you can go ahead and start working on your tumbler. It is a fall themed tumbler. Any and everything to do with or associated with the season fall or autumn. That can be football, that can be Halloween, that can be Thanksgiving, it can be hot cocoa, it can be, I don't know, sweaters, anything at all, any style, any method, any size tumbler. So then you'll be able to submit all of your photos anonymously, and then we'll take a few days, put everything together, and then we will put up a new gallery form, and you'll be able to go through and see photos and then vote on your own. I will go ahead and say again here, it's notated other places, that you do have to log in via Gmail on the forms. The reason being, it's the only way we have to ensure there is only one entry and one vote per person. So you do have to log in with that Gmail. That does not have to be your PayPal Gmail account, of course, or your PayPal email account, of course. But it's $5 per person. So, you know, we have 10 people signed up right now. That's a $50 prize. Now, depending upon how many people sign up, how much money that is, we're going to take a look at how many people are signed up at the end, and then we get a good number of people, we'll divide it up and we'll have multiple prizes. So we may have, you know, a first place winner may get $50, a second place winner may get $25. We'll take a look at that based upon how many people have signed up. So if we can share the love, then we absolutely will. And then we'll make all of those announcements. Yeah, man, enter in, and you can win money, and then you can go buy a turner. You can go onto Meg's website, or not Meg, Mona's website. Oh, which, by the way, if you didn't know, all the turners on Mona's website, her handmade, nice, completely level wood turners, they are all ready to ship. Most places you go and buy them, you've got to wait 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks, I've seen, for these turners to be built. She only lists what has already been built. So anything you see on her website, it's ready to go. So yes, if you're interested in it and you have not already signed up, please do. The form, along with some basic criteria, are posted and pinned to the top in the announcements. There is also an announcement that has a reminder of all of the important dates and kind of a sentence, few words about what each phase is. I also did a live with Meg the other night, Monday. I don't remember what day is today. Yeah, Monday. It was Monday. Monday we did a live, and I talked in more detail about the contest. So please check out all of that. If you watch those, read all that stuff, and you still have questions, please feel free to comment. You can comment on the live or on the announcement post that has the Google Drive form. Yes, Shannon, you should get crazy. Go crazy. Go crazy. Not necessarily that crazy. My crazy normally just involves a beer or two. It's only 95 calories. It makes me feel better. Does anybody else have everyone around them starting all these low carb, low calorie, high fat diets? They're all going to kill me. They're going to be the death of me. I work with 2 people in my little hidey hole, and both of them are on this like strict keto diet. One of them is also halfway starving himself. And so my boss, every day that I leave, he's sending me home because we've got a little cafe with our refrigerator, and he always buys all this food and stuff. Well, it's all turned to healthy vegetarian stuff, and now it's turned all this low carb. I'm gonna leave today. He used to send me home with like vegetables and things like that, and now he's like, hey, take some jelly with you. Really? Yeah, take some jelly with you. Take some jelly home, because they're not gonna eat jelly. So they're gonna give me the jelly. It's really good jelly, but I'll sit down with a spoon and eat the entire jar. Alright, well, I think I've rambled long enough. Y'all have a fantastic evening. And when you try your Saran wrap tumblers, post pictures. I want to see all of them. They're so, so pretty. Have a good night. Bye.